some cycling fanatics. I'm on my way to Delfzijl, which is all the way up north in the country. This is pretty much a North Pole. 2-hour drive to get there. I left at 10 o'clock this morning because this weekend is going to be the final race weekend of the year. The final of the club competition. Everything will be decided in the next 2 days. This weekend we'll have 3 races, starting with a road race today. 150 kilometers over I think a 15 kilometer loop that we're gonna do 10 times. Today it's super windy, it's crazy. If you've seen my video of the Ronde van Groningen earlier this year, it was around the same location. That day we had like wind force 7. Well, today it's around 5 or 6. So it's gonna be similar. It's gonna be super windy. I expect a hard race. Tomorrow is gonna be 2 races, a team time trial and a criterium. Well, I've never done an official time trial on a time trial bike, so I've got a loaner, I've got a borrowed bike from a teammate, and I actually received a POC time trial helmet this morning from POC, so thank you POC. And I'm gonna do my first team time trial, pretty awesome. And then after there's a criterium, so it's gonna be 3 races in this weekend. So I'm probably gonna make 3 videos out of this weekend, so make sure you check all of these out, starting with the road race today. We have arrived in the hotel because we want to spend the night here. No idea where to go. Haha. Oh, kijk eens. Alright. Hotel room. I'm not sure who my room buddy will be tonight. Got a great view, as you can see. Weather-wise, pretty crap. It's raining. Kijk dan. Roomie. Bumblebee has arrived. Kabang.
Hey, wacht, moet ik deze doen?
Okko, Jordi, Jeroen.
Ik deed hem, hè?
Jeroen is new. I never raced with this guy. Roommate, Thomas.
Thomas.
This is gonna be super cozy tonight. Anyway, race starts in about an hour and a half, so we still have plenty of time. Whoa! Our mechanic is getting everything ready. We're gonna go for a cup of coffee. Okay, we've done our team meeting. We're getting ready for the race. We're gonna be starting in about 45 minutes. The loop we're gonna do, the 15 kilometer loop, is oriented from the northwest to the southeast, and the wind is actually coming from the southwest. So we got like this straight on crosswind, which is gonna make it really important. We're gonna be in the front at the start of the race. So it's gonna be a hard race. We expect the peloton to break up from the beginning. So all 150 riders probably want to be at the first line when the neutralization is over. So it's gonna be a fight already. Yes, it's gonna be a fight. Like I said, 150 riders on the start of this race. We've got 25 teams in this final of the club competition. We're looking at a 150 kilometer road race over a 15 kilometer loop. If you take a look at the top right, you can see the loop, and you can follow me on the screen. And right here we're starting with a big crash in the neutralization. Everybody wants to stay up to the front, so actually these neutralizations were most of the time the most dangerous part of the race. Here we are stopped by the race direction because the guys that crashed, they were given the time to come back into the race, check their bikes, fix the flats, whatever, and we're waiting on the rest of the guys to join us. Here we're gonna continue. We're still in a neutralization, and there's a lot of corners, a lot of bends, and it's just pushing and super tight. Everybody still wants to stay up to the front, and here we're going on the big road. We should have been released on this road, but the neutralized car is still in front of us. Now along the way you can see the rest of the data. You can see the power at the bottom, the speed on the left, cadence, the distance into the race and the time. And right now we are released. As you can see, the speed goes up straight away up to 54, 55 kilometers an hour. And like I said, it was sort of a waiting game. When is it was gonna break? When is the peloton gonna break into these echelons? The wind was strong, not as strong as we thought in the beginning. So it might take a little bit longer because in the beginning everybody's still fresh. Everybody will be able to hang onto that wheel of the guy in front of them. But after a while it would get harder and harder. Right now we would have a slight wind from the side, from the tail. So that makes it even faster. Suddenly super sharp chicane here, and this was the first lap. So everybody was sort of a little bit unfamiliar with the road. Here we had a lot of big gaps and these cracks in the asphalt, and here on the left side also a lot of bumps. So it was not very nice smooth asphalt here. Pushing hard, staying in the wheels, and it's already single file all the way, so it's going fast. Coming through that first lap, we are twisting and turning. This was hard to stay up with the guy in front of you because every time you have to accelerate a little bit, and also the wind direction was changing the whole time. Right now the field is widely spread on the road. That means it's fairly easy most of the time, and this was usually in the other laps as well, the part for recovery. Here we're coming up to this roundabout. There was a tight squeeze here and we're getting closer to the finish. We've got a couple turns to go and then it's the finish of the first lap. Only the first lap of 10 laps, so we still have a long way to go. Last corner here, and then we end up on the finishing street. It was about 300 meters towards the finish from this last corner. And this is the first lap, 9 to go. And here we are at the same spot where we got stopped in the neutralization in the first lap. Right now we're going really fast. There's two sides of the road, so people are picking their position. It's going to be a lot of sharp corners, left, right right now. It's almost like a crit. And then afterwards we're going to get up to that big road that is going to be a very important part of this race, as you will see a little later. Here we are on the big road. We expect a big crossing from the left, so let's see what's gonna happen when we get out of the shelter of these trees here on the left. We're still in a fairly big group. There's not really echelons forming yet. That's because everybody is fresh and everybody is able to push hard and stay with the whole group. But it was very important to stay in the front because it could break at any moment, even in this second lap. So I wanted to keep up to the front of the race and stay up there because you never know when it's gonna break. You already see a small echelon forming right there in the front, and then the pack gets more narrow. So that means it's gonna be stretching out, and before you know it breaks somewhere and you're gonna be behind in a group that is never coming back. So right now I'm riding on the edge of the road. Right now I'm on the good side when it comes to drafting. However, you're not as flexible. So if I want to go around and move up to the front, I can't because there's too many riders on the left side. So it has two sides. Either be on the left side in the wind and be really flexible and able to ride to the front if you want, or stay on the right side, on the downwind side, and draft more, having more recovery, but risking the chance to get caught off if it breaks just in front of you. So right now on the way back, and the speed was up. It's all single file like you can see, and I was already having a hard time. My heart rate is up in 190, which is way above my threshold. I was just not super fit. I haven't been training for the last 3 weeks because I was too tired. So I was really having a hard time and struggling with this pace. And because we have a tailwind right now, there's not so much drafting, so it's harder for everybody, and it's just really hard to keep the wheel of the guy in front of you. So right here we've got some wind from the right, and everybody is single file going on the left, trying to be as far to the left as they can because you want to stay in the draft of the guy in front of you. But
there's no road to ride on. So everybody ends up on the left side of the road. And we have a slight tailwind from the right now. So that makes the speed even higher. You can't draft as much. So I just had a really hard time on this part of the race every lap. And I just was not fit enough to cruise through these laps like I would normally do. This took a lot of energy out of me every time. We're still only in the second lap right now. Third lap. Let's see what's gonna happen. We're on the big straightaway again, and it was getting more stretched out right now. And this is where the echelons were forming in front, and we were not fast enough. We were not far enough to the front of the race, so we ended up a little bit behind, and everybody's riding single file. And we try to get into an echelon as quickly as possible, because this would definitely be the best option. Here there was a formation of a group, but they were not fast enough, so we skipped this group and jumped towards the next group because we wanted to get back to the front. Because if these groups were slowing down and the group in front would just keep on going, then you would never get back into the race. You can already see a group right there up front. It's like 200 meters in front of us, so we need to start pushing forward and keep up the pace. Try to go as fast as we can to stay up there. So here I'm trying to find wheels to follow, try to find a group and start rotating just like the guys doing in front. So right now I'm sort of riding the wave of echelons, going with whatever group is forming. And here there's a couple guys of Sensei in the orange and blue, and maybe they missed out on this first group, so I know they want to start pulling hard. So I let them pass first and have them onto the front, start pulling, and create this nice organization in the group to get back to that breakaway that's up the road. So I was riding with them, and in the rest of the loop we did catch them back. So the first couple loops, pretty much the same thing happened. On this long straightaway it fell apart into a couple groups, and then in the rest of the lap everything came back together. Just cleaning up the lens a little bit to keep the image sharp and nice and clean for you guys. Right here, fourth lap coming up again to this long straightaway. Now let's see if it's gonna break up again. Probably yes. I'm a little bit too far to the back, so not in the best position. I would actually, it's better to be all the way up to the front, because then you're gonna be in the first group. Big crash right here, because this part of the race is so important. People start pushing, they try to get into that wheel of the guy in front of them, and then they ride off the road and they crash. So that's pretty tricky. Right here we try to find another group and start rotating, because there's already two groups up ahead, as you can see. And it was pretty hectic behind me after this crash. Everything scattered. Right here we try to form a new group, so we're still in an echelon and not all the way in the gutter with everybody. So it's way more efficient to try and close these gaps, which we did. Right here we can close the gap to the group in front of us, but there's still two groups ahead. So we're actually in a third group, not in a very good situation right now. Anyway, we managed to close the gap to this group, and I end up in a position that's okay. As long as you're in the bigger group, you're fine. And until now, every time in the rest of the lap, all the groups came back together. So here we're skipping through the race, 80 kilometers into the race, 1 hour 55. I wasn't feeling too well. After about an hour and a half, I started having cramps. So I also had a hard time staying up to the front before this long straightaway. So that means every time I was beginning this part of the race, this part of the lap, I was in a bad position and I had to fight to stay up there. So the race was getting harder and harder, and my legs were just getting worse and worse. So not a very good situation at the moment. However, I'm here with Olaf, my team buddy, and we're gonna try to make up a little bit of this lost space right now. We're hanging behind with a long single file riders, a line of riders, and we need to get up to the front. Right here you can see these guys are not pushing really hard. It's not going fast enough. There's no organization, so we need to pass and get back to the front, because if we stay hanging here, you'll just be in the draft and you won't have any grip on the situation. So trying to move up. Olaf is doing a really good job right now to get us up back a little bit to the front and try to stay up with a group. Here we're passing another team buddy, Jeroen, on the right, and I call out his name so he knows we're coming and he's gonna follow us. Here we're zigzagging through these riders. There's not really a good organization, so we need to pass them and try to get a better echelon. So here we go, keep on going, and we're actually doing half a road. We're not going all the way to the left, and that's because I'm with 3 team buddies right now. Olaf in front of me, Jeroen on behind me, and we're pushing out very hard. Now if we go use the entire road, we still have a big group of riders that's going to be benefiting from us, and we actually wanted to keep this group a little bit smaller. So we are pushing hard for ourselves and not for everybody in the rest of the race. Here Jeroen is taking a lead, and he closes the gap all the way to the group ahead of us. So nice job, and we're back into the race. So here we're still trying to push to the front. We've closed the gap to the other groups, and there's one breakaway group, but this is the peloton. So we're back all the way to the front. So we're in a good position in the race again. This breakaway, it's not per se already said that it's gonna stay away. So if we stay up here, we're in a good position. Right now I'm trying to move up towards the front of the peloton as much as I can, because we're coming up to this sharp corner and then we have a tailwind, which is a very hard section of the race. So Olaf and Jeroen are in my wheel, and we're trying to ride for position here to get a good start of this part of the loop. And here I'm even in first wheel, coming through this chicane again, which is nice because you can keep up the speed. However, I didn't really have the legs to stay in first wheel. I was having these cramps, it was getting colder, and I was just pretty tired, so I wanted to fall back a little bit more, which after all wasn't really smart, because then I was losing my position again that we just earned back on this long straightaway with a lot of energy. So it was a little bit of a mistake falling back so far. However, I just didn't really have the legs to keep pushing, so I wanted to have a couple wheels to follow and try to recover a little bit and be able to finish this race. And then about 15 minutes later, it started raining. So now it's game on. I mean, it's rain and wind, and we're in the back, and it's a hard race, and we're gonna do another couple loops. Again in the crosswind from the left, pushing hard in the gutter again. It was the same over and over. And my legs were feeling worse. Heartbeat is up 180 over my threshold, and we've got this rear view right here. You can see the spray, and on my left there's another echelon, so I ride to the left because I prefer to be in a group that's rotating instead of being single file behind somebody else that I can't draft behind. And you can see the road, it's super wet. Again, fighting to stay up there. Looking behind me, you can see everybody is in an echelon, so they're all sideways behind each other because the wind's coming from the left right now. So let's have a look at a couple of these images from my rear view mirror, and you can see it's a hard time when you're riding behind somebody with this big spray. This was the part of the race where we could get some water bottles from the side. So here I'm grabbing a bottle which I missed, so it falls on the ground, but then there's another one, there's somebody else from our team, and I get some bottles. And we passed that road every loop, so it was never too long before you could get another bottle. So that was pretty nice. Right here looking back, you can see this big spray flying up towards the back, and it's hard conditions to race in. Now what happened in the rest of this race, the groups were falling apart in every lap, and then we were actually closing in on that breakaway. So we were getting closer and closer, and at some point there was a group that split off from the peloton, and they jumped towards the break, and there was a very big group actually. It was like 40 riders. Now I was not feeling well, so I was in the back and I missed out on this group. And not just me, but with me a couple of my teammates as well. So we all pretty much missed out, not doing very good in this race. And I was just trying to finish this race because my legs were so dead. And right here, 150 kilometers, 3 hours 35 into the race. We're coming up towards the end. It's only 2 turns and then the finish. And I'm way back in the group that didn't jump towards the breakaway. So right now we've got a leading group of about 40-50 riders, and then our group. And a lot of other riders didn't finish in this race because it was a hard race. Right here, Jeroen is going for it, but I don't even have the legs to follow him. So I couldn't follow his wheel. He was trying to get me up to the front. However, we're racing for place 50 something and over. Right here is the finishing street, 300 meters to go. And we are still pushing hard because it's all about the time. The ranking of the team in this competition is partly based on time. So the goal was to get 3 guys finishing somewhere up the front and getting a good time. But we didn't really do good in this race today.
I'm gonna take a shower first. Dude, I'm really dead. It was a hard race. We knew it from the beginning. I wasn't doing too bad. I was in the front first hour until I got cramps. I had an hour and a half in the race. It started raining like crazy. I just don't have the form. I've been too tired for the last weeks. I've got another race tomorrow. Not sure how the leg's gonna feel tomorrow. First I'm gonna take a warm shower. Kijk hem joh. What? Just had a massive plate of pasta with the team. We had a talk about what happened today. Everybody agreed it was pretty shit. My roomie totally crashed. He's not feeling very well. Not sure how he's gonna ride tomorrow. I'm totally beat up. Legs don't feel very well. I'm not sure how I'm gonna ride tomorrow. That's the short story of the day. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, breakfast. And then we're gonna do a recon on the time trial course. And then 11 o'clock, it's time trial. And at 3 o'clock, it's gonna be a criterium. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Gonna see you in the next video. See ya! I'm not sure if you have read my t-shirt. Nobody trains to come in second. Today I got 58th place. It's not second, so still good. Always stay positive.